So now we're going to make it so when the turret shoots the player, something happens. Okay. So usually, let's say for example, if a player gets hit 3 times, maybe game over. Okay. So let's do something like that. But let's make it so when the player gets hit, it makes the player flash. Okay. So let's come over here and click on the player. And let's add a new behavior called flash. So click on plus, then type in FL and find flash, add. And what the flash behavior does is it makes something flash. So let's come over here to event sheet, and we're going to make a new event, and we're basically going to say when the bullet collides with the player, then do something. Okay, so we'll say when the bullet, and type in COLL for collision, and then we'll find on collision with another object. And what object? When the bullet collides with the player, okay, then we want to do something. So what do we want to do? Well, let's make the player flash. So let's come over here to player. And now that we added the flash behavior, we have the flash properties here. And let's make it flash for 1 second. Okay, so now let's play. And now when the player is collided, well, when the bullet collides with the player, he flashes for 1 second. Okay, now what's something else going on here? You can notice that when the bullet hits the player, it goes right through it. Okay, we should make that so when the bullet hits the player, it stops. Okay, so the way we do that is we destroy the bullet. So we want to say when the bullet collides with the player to make the player flash, but also another action is bullet and destroy. So DES filters down the options to destroy, and hit done. And now when we play it, okay, watch what happens. This is a little bit better here. He still flashes, but the bullet doesn't keep on going past the player. Okay. So, but notice that the player still can get hit a whole bunch of times and nothing really happens to the player. So we need to add a variable for that to happen, so that the computer knows to destroy the player after a certain number of hits. So let's come over here and let's create a variable, and let's call it health, and let's start it off at 3. Okay, so now that we have a health variable that's equal to 3, each time the bullet hits the player, we need to subtract 1 from health. And then once the value of health is equal to 0 or less, we want to destroy the player sprite. Okay, so all we would do here, okay, so when the bullet collides with the player, we go to action, and we go to system, and we're going to work with the variables, subtract from, and since we only have one variable right now, it's health, and we will subtract 1 from health. Okay, so now when a bullet collides with a player, it's going to cause the player to flash, the bullet will be destroyed, and we'll subtract 1 from health. So now we need to tell it what to do when health is equal to 0. So we come here, we go to system, and we're going to compare variables, and we're going to compare health is equal to 0. But we really need to say if it's equal to or less than. Okay, and that's because imagine, let's say we had 2 or 3 turrets shooting the player at the same time, and the value of health actually got down below 0. So we would still want the player to be destroyed then. So in this case, we should say if health is less than or equal to 0. Okay, so what do we want to do when health is 0 or less? Well, because just like the bullet got destroyed up here, we want to destroy the player. So we click on add action and then player, and we can just type in DES to filter out, because we know it's destroy, and there's so many choices here, and we can just find it here, but sometimes it's easier if you know what the word starts with, just to type it there. Okay, player destroy. So let's see if it works. So let's do a run. Okay, and player hit once, twice, boom, 3 times, and the player's gone. Okay, and the turret stops shooting because he only shoots when he detects the player. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, we can do a reload page. We can play it again. 1, 2, can't catch me, 3. Okay, so that appeared to work pretty good. I think it did exactly what we wanted it to do. So next we're going to show how to make the health value show up here, just so you can see the health going from 3 to 2 to 1 to 0. So let's put some text up here on the screen that shows our health value. So let's double click on the layout, and instead of doing a sprite, we're going to do a text, not text box, but text. And let's click on insert, and let's put it right over here, and let's make the text say health equals. Okay, so to do that, you come over here to the text properties and just type something here, like you can say health equals and then a space. Okay, so let's do that. Let's shrink up the box a little bit, and notice what happens if you make the box too small, the words go away. Okay, now also you may do something where you make the font size too big and the words disappear and you wonder where they went. Okay, so disappear, but if you make the box bigger, you can see the words. So if you ever make a text box and the words just are gone, it's probably because of that. So let's make the health nice and big. And since health starts off at 3, we can actually come in here and do a 3 there. Okay, and this is just text that's showing up there. But and I notice over here for the objects we have a variable here called text, but let's actually rename it to txt health value. Okay, and I put a txt in front of it just so that we know that the type of object is a text box object. Okay, so let's come over here to the event sheet, and every time the health value changes, we want this to come change values as well. So we want the first time we get shot for that to say health equals 2, you get shot again 1, 0, etc. Okay, so let's come over here, and we want to change it every time we get the bullet collides with the player. So that would be here. So we'll click on add action and select the txt health value, and we're going to actually do what's called set text. So if you type in set and then T, you'll see it here, okay? And the value that we're going to change it to, if you notice the quotes here, we're going to say health equals, and then space, and then quotes again, and then do the ampersand sign, and then now what comes next is going to be the variable value. So for example, we're going to show it the value of the variable health. So we just type H, it pops up there. And so now this text is going to read health equals, or health space equals space. And then the ampersand just means you add this to it and the value of health. So now click done. Let's see if that works. This is probably going to be pretty simple. And so let's come up here and run it. Okay, so health equals 3, 2, well, I'm getting shot pretty fast. 1, 0. That's all there is to it. But that's very important to know that as well. So just keep in mind that your health value variable is set with the set text command. All right, that's about it for now. So stay tuned for more podcasts.